So I thought we'd talk a bit about bewilderment. I often respond to things that people ask me during the week, and that's come up because people hear me say sometimes, and under the first noble truth, bewilderment, which is a form of suffering. The word dukkha, I suppose the most direct translation would actually be pain. But the Buddha obviously meant to cover all kinds of pain, mental, social, and so on. So I think bewilderment is worth picking out as a special case of pain or suffering. A person who is bewildered is suffering. But what exactly do we mean by bewilderment? Well, to put it in a few words, a person who is bewildered, or a group that's bewildered, is in doubt about what to do next or what to think, and is feeling unsettled. So that feeling unsettled, unstable, in the face of change, for example, we call bewilderment. And bewilderment is a form of suffering. It's unpleasant. And if you think about what is the opposite of bewilderment, bewilderment is feeling contentment, acceptance, stability, knowing where you're going and what you're doing, even if in fact on a bigger picture it might not be the most fruitful thing to do. So from the Buddhist point of view, we have to look into the conditions of bewilderment, or what is arising from. He's quite modern in that sense, that he'll always ask what are the conditions for this arising in the first place. So what are the conditions? There's a lot of bewilderment around currently, but there's always a certain measure of bewilderment in our lives, which I think, on analysis, comes down to attachments and conflicts of attachments. So we see this in ordinary life. You might be attached to one thing, but at the same time, something else is going on which contradicts it. You might have some allegiance to that as well. So now you're bewildered. You don't know what you should do. So to give some simple examples, which comes first, honesty or loyalty? If a colleague, say at work, is doing the wrong thing, but is a friend of yours and has been a friend for some time, you may now feel bewildered about how to respond to that. Because on the one hand, you want to be loyal to your friend. On the other hand, you don't like the dishonesty. But your friend is insisting on being dishonest. So now you feel pulled. So you have an attachment to an idea of loyalty, and an attachment to the friend, an attachment to the truth, or to a wider perspective. So one might feel bewildered. Or a very touchy issue, what if one of your daughters becomes pregnant and she wants an abortion and you think that that's wrong? No, that happens all the time, fortunately. There's going to be a lot of bewilderment because it's not clear. Because obviously you would like to do, you think the daughter's views comes first, but on the other hand, you think that is a wrong thing to do, right? I'm just giving an example. I'm not talking about any particular case. This is what we mean by bewilderment. Where do I turn? What is right? What is wrong? What should I do? Now, I think it's worthwhile thinking about bewilderment as a special issue, because it puts one's finger on so many of the situations that we come across in life where it is not clear what one should do, and whatever one does do, it seems to be wrong in some way. So it's often a double bind sort of situation. Without certain expectations, norms, customs, loyalties, etc., there wouldn't probably be so much bewilderment. But I think in a way, there's always some sort of residual bewilderment But people become more bewildered the more strongly they are attached and the more strongly they feel about certain things. And of course, bewilderment is at the source, or maybe it's a manifestation of a lot of conflict. Sometimes we can't understand why someone else doesn't see things the way that we do, or we can't understand why they would think that would be the right thing to do. So we feel bewildered. So now, I'll turn it over to you in a moment, as I usually do, as to how do we make sense of this? How do we respond to the Buddha's call to find peace and compassion within that situation of bewilderment, whether it's on a personal level, family level, or wider social level, or even, as I think we're seeing at the moment, global level, bewilderment over how we got to be in this situation of climate change problems. Bewilderment is something that grinds away at one. It's a manifestation of confusion, of chaos, of not knowing what's important, or what is more important than the other. So it's easy to give examples, but what would be the way of, in general, of approaching feelings of bewilderment? That's the question we want to pose.